you can say your name, what you do in the band, and we'll get with the questions.
Yeah, my name is Sam Hale. I'm a singer-songwriter, producer, and I'm based in Nashville, from LA area, but living in Nashville right now. So,
Awesome, awesome. So my first question, Sam, usually I have a band, so this is a little bit more interesting. I always like when people ask this question, but how did you kind of start out in music? Like, what made you want to do the solo route versus maybe being in a band?
yeah.
I know a lot of people usually are like, they have certain answers to that question, but I'm curious what your answer is.
I've been in bands a lot my whole life, but I reached a point where I realized that a lot of my friends that I was in bands with, their lives kind of started going in different directions, and I've always been constant with music. And I'm in my 30s now, so I've experienced my 20s being in bands, and it was awesome. I miss that camaraderie and being a part of a team, but there's pros and cons to both sides. Now that I'm independent and I'm solo, there's a lot that I could do. I'm accountable for all my actions, and only I can slow myself down, But sometimes you want a band to perform shows, and you have to go and hire session musicians or have some people help you out. But yeah, in terms of like having a band and rehearsing 4 or 5 times a week the way we used to, it's not like that anymore. So everything's more strategic with my time, and but I like being solo. I like not having to rely on others to some degree. So
Yeah, I find a lot of similarities to what I do in that respect, because a lot of people may or may not know that I do this as now more a part-time gig. Before it was more full-time, but I can kind of figure out that sort of resemblance in terms of what I do, because a lot of it falls on me, and there's no one else that I can obviously bounce things off of people, but like a band kind of vibe and stuff like that, it's the same sort of thing. If I have people like working under me, it's the same sort of thing. So I also get that. I also feel like you want to have that sort of like you want to have it your own, like you're the only one who could push yourself to do what you want to do and what you want to kind of achieve and where you want to be at. So I could definitely find that sort of semblance, but I don't want to keep cutting you off because I could see you're talking, but I don't want to jump in.
No. I was just saying creatively, yeah. Like, I mean, I have a team in a sense where like I have a manager, a publicist and stuff like that, but they're not really involved in the creative process as much, so it's different. But there is a sense of like company, like you're working for a company, so so there's still that team element, but it's just in terms of creating in my house, it's usually just me by myself.
There you go. Also, you did mention earlier you moved from LA to Tennessee, so how has that transition been? Have you liked it more out here? Have you found like more success being out in the Tennessee area?
I found some success here and I like it. I've been here for about a year, and I feel like a lot of people out here are telling me you got to be here for a couple of years to really kind of get settled in and establish all your networks and just kind of settle with what you're doing. But it's way different than LA. Do I like it more than LA? I don't know. They both offer such different things. Like in Nashville, cost of living's a lot lower. It's easier to do music and be creative, and there's a lot of different kinds of opportunities. If you want to be a songwriter out here, there's a lot of songwriters that are amazing. There's a lot of talented people. The only thing is that Nashville is still kind of growing as into various genres. We're still kind of heavily focused on like country, bluegrass, folk, Americana. So it's interesting coming here at this time and watching the other scenes grow. But LA, obviously, you have the weather, you have the industry's already established out there. There's a lot of pop music there, a lot of psychedelic rock and cool alternative music. It's very much a melting pot. So, and I like the food in LA better. But I'm comfortable in Nashville, so I like it here.
Awesome, awesome. So my
Yeah.
next question, Sam, kind of to follow up with the musical journey you've been on. What are some favorite venues in Tennessee that you like playing at? You could give some in LA if you'd like to, but what are some of the venues that you like playing at?
The Five Spot has been really cool out here. Let's see, what other venues have I played? Whiskey Room Live is cool. Radio Cafe. I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I just got back from tour
Nice. Okay.
in Texas, so I did that. And I'm trying to think where I played before that. And in LA, I'll switch to LA because I'm having a brain fart. In LA, I really liked playing Hotel Cafe. That was a cool venue. Bar Lubitsch was a good singer-songwriter venue. Those were a couple that I really liked. Yeah.
Awesome.
I played El Rey at one point, but that was a while ago. But yeah.
I always ask just in case, if I go visit a city, I want to go catch a show, I can find some cool venues to like hang out at and maybe get some local music in my ears.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, if you ever come out here, let me know, and we'll take you out.
Awesome, awesome. My next question, Sam, to follow up the venues, what was the last show that you attended?
The last show I attended, like a bigger show, or
It doesn't have to necessarily be a bigger show. If you want to do like a small local show and then maybe hit me up with like maybe a larger band.
The last show I attended was it was actually on tour. It was my own show. Does anything No, but prior to that, I saw a local artist, Bree Murphy, play.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of a bigger act that I saw. I saw Imagine Dragons not too long ago.
Oh, tight. Okay.
Yeah, they were playing at the Bridgestone Arena, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I haven't been to any like big shows in a while. I just normally support my local friends out here, and that's pretty much what I've been doing lately. So.
Hey, that's a good thing. You got to have those people that are out there at those local shows. They're a small band. You want to try to support your friends. I totally get that. That's how I roll too. So definitely
Nice.
get that.
Cool. Where are you based?
I'm based out of New Jersey, but I go to Philly a lot. Philly's like my second home. Love Philly so much. So
Okay, cool.
awesome, Sam. So my next question is the most important one. What are some of your musical influences? Who do you draw from?
It's evolved throughout time. In the last year, I've really been into like David Ramirez, Slow Dive, Beach House. It's all over the map. White Oak, they're really cool. More like indie stuff. I like Father John Misty.
Okay, yeah.
I've kind of swayed away from like pop and mainstream music, and I've been exploring other artists that are kind of growing and maybe not as popular. Tame Impala is cool. They're more popular. But I grew up with rock and roll, so I have a lot of '90s rock influences in me. But in my latest music, what you hear more is like kind of like a combination of everything, but more so indie type of ethereal, psychedelic, pop rock kind of stuff. So,
Awesome. Yeah. Well, my next question to follow up the influences: who have you been spinning? Who have you been listening to on Spotify, whatever, when you've been jamming in your car?
That's a good question. I'm gonna pull up my Spotify right now.
Always a good thing. I always like when bands do that because I know they're on it.
Yeah, I mean,
for the new stuff.
this will help me so that I don't have any more brain farts. I like Arctic Monkeys,
Sick,
Real Estate. They're cool. I like oh my god, what are they? Like I said, once again, Father John Misty. He's awesome. I love his lyrics. Raylan Baxter, David Ramirez, The Walkmen, Kevin Morby, The National, Phosphorescent. Nick Hakim, he's really awesome. You should check him out. He's kind of like soul psychedelic.
Okay, cool.
I guess you would say, yeah, something like that. and Cigarettes After Sex. They're pretty good. They're kind of like beach house, more mellow. And those are to name a few. I guess we can start. Lord Huron, I liked him too.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Awesome. A nice variety. Always like when I hear artists listening to different stuff. That's always brings some joy to my heart, that there's a little bit of extra that they're pulling from. So,
Absolutely.
but my next question is, I don't know if you have any cover songs in your rotation, but if you could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
I've been in the last tour that I did. I covered Radiohead's "Creep."
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I also covered Depeche Mode's "Enjoy the Silence." Those are my two latest covers that I've been doing. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
My next question, we talked about food because I heard, you're from LA, got to talk about this. Favorite food to eat?
Wow, that's so tough, man, because I feel like I'm slightly biased because I grew up Persian, so
Okay.
I love Middle Eastern food. I love Persian food, but at the same time, I love Vietnamese. I love pho, vermicelli. I love Thai food. Sushi is definitely up there, but in Nashville, I'm like kind of afraid to eat it all the time.
Yeah.
And it gets pricey. To get good fish, it's hard to find out here. So, but I'm actually going back to LA in a couple weeks, and every time I go back, I'm like, okay, let's do sushi like 3 days in a
These
row.
are the spots I'm gonna hit up. These
Yep.
are the places I need to hit, so I can get my fill for that moment, and then when I go back to Nashville, I'm good to go.
Exactly.
I'll have to find some good Persian spots. I haven't eaten Persian food. I love eating. I love getting new cuisines. So.
Yeah. It's like stews on top of rice, and you have kebabs. If you've had Mediterranean food, it's similar, but there's once you kind of centralize different locations in the Middle East, you get different kinds of stews and different kind of seasonings and flavors. It's amazing. You should try it for sure.
What's a go-to Persian meal? Like what should I, if I go to a Persian spot? What should I rock with?
Do you eat meat?
I do eat meat, yeah.
Okay, so I would say it's called sultani, and sultani is so you get like one skewer that is ground beef, and the other skewer is like sirloin steak, like filet mignon.
Yeah.
And it's served on a bed of rice with like tomatoes and saffron on the rice, and they give you such hefty portions that like you can have food for 3 days, but I tend to always overeat and just eat it all in one sitting. And then I don't want to talk to anybody after that.
They're like, "You want a to-go bag, Sam?" And you're like, "Nah, not today. We're gonna eat all of it."
That's the American problem. We eat what's in front of us.
So true. Anyway, getting back to the more music-related questions, if you could pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest vocalist on your next record or producer you'd like to work with, who would it be?
That's a really good question. This person I'm going to list, he's not necessarily someone that sounds like me, but I've drawn influence from him, and I just really appreciate the way he does everything and how relevant he's stayed throughout the years. But Trent Reznor.
Oh, nice. Okay.
On Inch Nails, yeah. Just the way he's evolved from not only doing his, more industrial rock stuff, but he's evolved into doing more electronic stuff, and he's really into synthesizers, and I appreciate that. I've seen like pictures of his studio and all the synths he has, and he's gotten into scoring movies. He did the Social Network movie, so I really appreciate all the stuff he's done and how relevant he's stayed. So
that would be very interesting. I'd love to hear that. Maybe throw some vocals on there too. There you
go.
Wild.
There you go.
Awesome. My next question, Sam, if there was another musical instrument that you could just shred at, what would it be?
Wow, that's a good question too. I play piano as well.
Okay.
I don't play it as well as guitar, but it definitely conveys a different type of emotion, and I love playing it. So if I could definitely keep working on that and push myself to be a better pianist, then that'd be awesome. So I love the piano. It's one of those instruments that you could play by itself and it kind of fills the room, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like next Sam record, it's got to have that piano on it.
Oh, we got one song with piano on this one.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to keep an ear out for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I always ask this question. I'm curious how people answer it because I'm a huge nerd. I love video games. But if you could be a video game character, who would you be?
A video game character. Now, here's the thing. I've been a little out of touch with video games.
Okay.
My characters would be old school.
Are we talking about like this old school Sam?
No.
Like
that's cool. But it's around maybe a little bit later than that, or around the same time.
Yeah.
But if I could be a character from a video game, I'd like to be something from Mortal Kombat, maybe Sub-Zero.
Ooh, okay.
Be able to freeze people, have cool powers. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind.
There you go. I got to keep you on your toes. You know, I got to always ask those like
interesting,
odd questions. Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome. My next question, getting back to more of the music related stuff as well. If you could compile a dream tour, who would be on the lineup?
A dream tour of musicians that I'm watching, or I'm part of it.
You got to be a part of it. I mean, like that's the whole point of being on a dream tour, you know?
Okay, gotcha. A dream tour would be War on Drugs, Radiohead, Coldplay before they became poppy, and let's see, one other. I mean, Nine Inch Nails would be cool too. I mean, these bands are all kind of different, but they all have a little bit of rock and ethereal kind of psychedelics in them. So, yeah, those are to name a few.
There you go. Coldplay, old Coldplay is still really good. I was surprised that like people don't realize they were like way more technical in the way that they did stuff like early on, and now they're just a pop band.
Well, I think they figured out that they can make a ton of money and just sell out, and that's what.
Well. I feel like your likelihood of Coldplay might skyrocket down a little bit, but hey, listen, we both love Coldplay. You know, I'm not trying to hate on Coldplay here.
Oh no, I mean I can hate on Coldplay because, I mean I appreciate them, but it's okay to hate on their newer stuff. So don't worry.
It's okay. I didn't want to backpedal for you, so I mean I feel like I had to backpedal a little bit just in case this blows up and I get to interview.
That was smart.
Coldplay, I gotta make sure I gotta watch my back a little bit. But
you're right.
But speaking of dream tours, Sam, in your opinion, who puts on a great live show?
Wow, a great live show. Lately, not too long ago, within the last year, I got exposed to this artist. He's an Americana rock artist.
Okay.
His name is David Ramirez, and he's amazing live. There's just a presence about him when he performs, and it's better than the CD, and that's what I always love when I hear an artist that is better than the CD live. And so he was the last experience I've had with an artist that was just amazing live. So yeah, you should check him out.
I love when bands or artists say that when they have that one band that just kind of exceeds their expectation of a CD or seeing them live. Like that always gets me, so I'll have to check out. What is it, David Ramirez, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna have to go give him a listen then. But my next question, Sam, getting back to the fun ones, favorite TV show, favorite movie?
Man, this is another tough one. Favorite TV show? I mean, it's all based on every year there's good shows, right? I would say, okay, so I didn't start binge watching shows until Lost. Have you heard of Lost?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so I was always kind of anti binge watching, and then my friends dude, it's on Netflix, you just go watch it, the whole thing. And that's when I really started getting into Breaking Bad and Lost and all those type of shows. And yeah, I remember I literally like would cancel plans with everybody just to watch Lost, and I'd watch like 10 hours a day
Wow.
just because I'd want to get to the next episode. Yeah, so I really like Lost in terms of shows. In terms of favorite movie of all time, that's a really tough question, man. Um, I love old mobster movies, but I really appreciated Casino. I really like that.
Oh, that's a good one.
With Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. That was an awesome movie, and that's one that always comes to mind. So I'll leave it at that for now.
Well, if you come back on again, which you're more than welcome to, you can change up the answer. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed people and they're like, I've thought of like 20 more answers, and I'm like, you can come back on and change it if you want, so more than welcome to come back on.
I'll Google it while we're talking, and I'll see.
All right, awesome, Sam. My next question is: if you're trapped on a desert island for the next month and you could only bring one album with you, what album would it be?
That's another tough one because it has to be one that, like, obviously you'll get sick of it no matter what, right? Because if that's all you listen to all the time, there's gonna be a point.
I think that's debatable. I would say that's debatable.
Yeah, that's debatable. You're right. If I could take an album, I would think, man, the first thing that comes to mind, I'll say, is "Dark Side of the Moon" by Pink Floyd.
Ooh, classic.
Just like something more classic, and there's cool instrumentals, so you get a little break from the vocals here and there. That album was just amazing. It transcended its time, So I'll say that for now. I owe you a lot of
good answer. I like that you're like, oh, till I'm gonna keep you on your edge. Maybe if you come back on again, I'll change the answer. I like that. That's a pro move right there. But lastly, Sam, tell them about you, where they can find you at, and anything coming up in the new year.
Yeah, so I just finished up a tour in Texas with John Patty, which I believe you might have already.
I have, yes.
Okay, so he probably told you all about that, or maybe that was prior to the tour. I don't remember, but so I just did that, and then I kind of took like a week off and just got back. I got adjusted to how things are going, and recently on Delhi Magazine, I just got nominated as one of the top artists of the month, and they're having this contest right now, and they're voting, and so for the next 10 days or so, they're going to be voting who gets to be featured on their national page. And today I got played on Alt 97.5, which is an iHeart radio station for alternative music, and they have that station everywhere, but the numbers might be different. I don't know what it is in New Jersey. But that was cool in terms of some recent accomplishments, and what I'm looking forward to in the next month or two is I have a couple music videos being released for my single Supernatural and Take It, and they're both very different from one another, and I don't really want to reveal what they're about yet, but or the angle we took with them, but those are exciting things that are coming up, and I'm going to be working on some new music in the new year, and excited to put new music out there for the world, and then playing shows regularly. So yeah, those are some cool things that are happening.
Awesome. I'm gonna.
Oh, and where can people find me?
Yes.
So I'm sorry to cut you off. So my main website is samhale.net. Yep, that's .net. And people give me shit about that. So that's where you can find me, my website, and it's connected to all my socials. But on Instagram, my handle is Sam Hale Music. I spent more time on Instagram than anything else, I would say. But I'm on Facebook as well, and Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. So
awesome. Well, I'm gonna reveal the music video. It's all about Lost. That's it. I figured it out. It's all about Lost.
Okay. Hey, maybe there are some elements of that in there.
All I'm gonna say is that's my guess. and we're recording this in the past, so if it does happen, I'm just gonna say I called it. Just say it. Anyway, that's it, guys. Go check out Sam. Links are in the description where you can find out about his music. If he's coming around your area, please go out and see him. I'm hoping he comes hit the East Coast some point in 2019. That would be sick. But go check out his stuff. Huge shout out to Vicky as well as Angela for hooking this up, getting this thing together. They're both wonderful people, so you should go show them some love as well. If you enjoyed this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. And thanks, of course, to Sam for coming on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brandon.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.